reputation. While we're running around and around in the line of my listless isolation. What a difference you possess that lifts you while the rest have fallen. What I would give if I could live with such reckless abandon. What I would give if I just one more sin to my confession. Running around in the line of my listless isolation. What is it that you possess that lets you all the rest have fallen? You took the comfort of my apathy. Got me sick just thinking how I used to be. Gave me a little taste of lucidity. Took my world to spin right under me. Now I want it more than I would care to explore. Caught me in a daze where I'm counting down the hours of living, counting down the hours of giving. Take me anywhere, I swear it's no right. Take me to the edge until I lose sight. All I have to give is me a whole night. Take me away from me till I feel alive. Now I want it more than I would care to explore. Caught up in a daze. I'm counting down the hours of living. I'm counting down the hours of giving. Anywhere, I swear it's alright. Take me to the edge until I lose sight. All I have to give is me a whole night. Take me away from me till I feel alive. Take me away from me. Take me away from me. Take me away from me. Take me. Thank you.
Feedback. Right? Fan feedback. Straight out of Mankato, Minnesota. So fan feedback. Yes. According to your bio, you like ghosts, aliens, and life and death. Yes. Yeah.
All those things are pretty cool.
We're all good.
They're all great.
Do you tend to lean more towards ghosts or aliens, or
Well, it's like one needs the other, you know, the push and pull.
push and pull?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Push and pull.
You guys are all a group of friends that have met before or played before, or love to meet?
I don't know these guys.
Me and Corey on guitar and Al on drums, we played in another band together called Thrilling Summer down in Mankato. So we had a couple members of that band move away, so we just kept going.
So it's going. All right, we'll carry on.
Thank you. This song's called Death.
got my wish in
As the
mind.
first ones fall,
The moon is shining a silent light.
how can it be true?
I call them down in front of you.
Can we defeat the night?
Here comes the dawn and I'm ready for the
I
ride.
think that I spent too much time on earth.
I've seen
I've had my
enough.
fill of death and violence and hurt.
I've seen
Well, I think that I
enough.
spent too much time on earth.
So let's take it to the stars where time won't reach. And we can seize our chance to meet our goal. Our bodies filled with
The
warmth,
burning light and heart.
rocketing through the stratosphere, and we're suddenly alive.
The passing aeroplane,
We were never breathing.
blinking satellites of far become much closer when you realize what they are. I think that I spent too much time on earth.
I've seen enough.
I've had my fill of death and violence and hurt.
I've seen enough.
Well, I think that I spent too much time on earth.
So let's take it to the sun that time won't reach. We can seize our chance to meet our goal. Feet have left the ground and I don't miss the feeling. Yes, we're floating towards a brand new sun. Shed our skin as worlds begin collapsing. We'll arrive as one as for the rest of our life. I think that I spent too much time on earth.
I've seen enough.
I've had my fill of death and violence and hurt.
I've seen enough.
I think that I spent too much time on earth. So let's take it to the stars where time won't reach. We can't seize our chance to meet our goal. We're going and we're gone. Let's go and bigger things for goals. The place where we can think for goals. Place where we can think for goals.
Trees, the fields, and the honeybees, the tango, and the music of dreaming. To the need of a negativity, 120 degrees in the middle of June.
I spent too much time on earth. I've got my fill of death and violence and hurt. Well, I think that I spent too much time on earth.
But for my next line of questioning, Mankato.
Mankato.
What's Mankato like nowadays?
It's dangerous.
As long as you're not getting shot at or stabbed. It's okay.
I heard it's underwater.
Yeah, there's a lot of highways underwater. We're kind of isolated there. It's an island.
Well, what's the scene like? I mean, is it?
The scene there, the music scene is very,
Yeah, it's vibrant.
very vibrant.
Yeah. Do you have favorite clubs that you like to frequent
Most of them are
there?
torn down right now.
Yeah, there was a favorite club, but they're remodeling right now, and then there's another favorite club, but they had flood damage, and now they're remodeling. There's like 2 venues left in town that are functioning right now, so.
But nothing bad will happen here.
So you guys like are house parties an option there or anything like that, or are you still trying to get out to venues?
We try to get out to venues. We know some people that kind of do some basement shows every now and again.
Yeah, people don't like us enough to invite us to play there, though.
Yeah.
Invite you into their homes.
They're not cool.
Right.
You can come play with us.
Okay.
Yeah, straight on. I heard there's a place,
love to.
a place called the What's Up Lounge.
Yeah, the What's Up Lounge. That's a venue in Mankato, it's got a lot of history, just decades of great bands.
Right.
I actually did the booking there, so if you guys want to travel to Mankato.
Exactly. If you have any bands or leads, talk to this
Yeah.
guy. If you want to play Mankato, so
Absolutely.
make your way down to Mankato. Beautiful
This
city.
is called running.
Apparently very vibrant.
We are living in the afterlife. We are living history. Just got something on to what we can't understand. Say my name and set me free. Come too close to our remains, running in unchanging ways. Need release to seek more unfamiliar pain. Let me out, set me free, break these chains binding me, and we'll find our retribution. Reason in, reason out, until the feedback comes around, starting off our revolution. For we slightly overcompensate for our own despondency. Slow down your vibrations, keep your feet on the ground. Say my name and ecstasy. Look, I found your own design, always running out your mind. And all you need is all inside. Breaking out through the myriad of men. It's our only solution. Thank you. This night is forever, and yet it all ends here. A kiss and a whisper hang in the air. We'll act like we don't care. In the still of our dance on the eve of the new year, we're bold enough to embrace our transparency. In the vibrations between you and me are impossible to see, while consistently lost in our fantasy. Is there such a thing as real as a moment when the middle stops muttering and our questions will leave us there? And are we considering when this all comes to an end? By falling apart, will we feel whole again? By remembering our final feverish waltz, do we savor the warmth while we can? Now all of the colors have turned to vivid gray. My mind's dissipating more every day, and now I'm growing pale and cold to the touch since you went away. But still invisible fingers remain intertwined in the twist of our limbs now frozen in time. My breath may be gone, but somehow I feel more alive. And on New Year's Eve, the whole world stops mattering. Our questions will take their lead when the walls have all been kicked in. And are we considering when this all comes to an end? By falling apart, will we feel whole again? By remembering our final feverish waltz, do we savor the warmth while we can? Without
common ground in music? I mean, having 5 members in the group, there's got to be a lot of influences, a lot of stuff coming together. Is there anybody that y'all are kind of digging right now, or no?
Instruments, making
now.
music.
Just
I don't.
collaborate on everything.
Brandon and I get along on funk a lot.
Ah, see, rhythm section. Thinking alike. That's good.
James and I come from kind of 90s grunge sound, I think.
Well, big like Smashing Pumpkins influence for him, Mouse influence for him.
So where does that leave you?
I just like being a part of it and playing.
Edit
We love everyone
Edit
equally.
jams.
Equally. That's perfect.
Sing one line of it last. Do it. Whenever you're ready. 2 are ready. Go.
You made your choice, I'm not surprised. It ended up like all the others. Why can't we get if there are desperate minds? Making the same mistakes won't change our lives. Drop your descent into this tragic automatic act. When the decision's made, we got to find a new way. Open your eyes and try to find why you keep coming back to the self-destructive game. We got to find a new way. We got to find a new way. We got to find a new way. Easier when we can foresee. And if another than what we believe. Don't act like this is a routine. Won't you give me the dynamite and the certainty? Not your descent into this tragic automatic act. When the decision's made, we got to find a new way. Open your eyes and try to find why you keep coming back to the self-destructive game. We got to find a new way. We got to find a new way. We got to find a new way. find a new way. Thank you guys.
Thank you, everyone.